Hey, welcome back. So, today we're tackling a huge topic, AI compliance. All the essential rules for making sure the AI we build is safe, fair, and something we can actually trust.
Okay, let's just cut to the chase. What actually happens when an AI goes off the rails and breaks the law?
Well, the fallout is pretty massive. We're talking huge legal penalties, major ethical failures, and maybe, worst of all, a complete and total loss of trust. And let's be clear, this isn't some far-off what-if scenario. This is a real risk, right now.
So how do we dodge that bullet? Think of it this way, and this is a really good way to picture it. Building an AI without a solid compliance plan, that's like trying to build a massive skyscraper without even glancing at the building codes. You're not just risking a few cracks, you're setting yourself up for total collapse.
Right, so the first step, the absolute foundation, is knowing what those building codes even are. And for AI, these codes are this constantly changing tangled web of regulations, laws, and standards that dictate how these systems get built and used.
And wow, just look at how many layers we're dealing with here. It's not just one rulebook. Nope. You've got to juggle global policies, federal and state laws, very specific industry standards, and even professional best practices. It's a lot. It's like trying to read a dozen different maps at the same time.
So for instance, you've got these huge global game changers, like the EU's AI Act setting the tone for everyone.
Then you have critical frameworks right here in the US, like the one from NIST, that gives super detailed guidance. And on top of that, international management standards like ISO 42001. The point is, the rulebook is already massive, and it's literally growing every single day.
Okay, so knowing the general codes is one thing, but that's not enough, right? Now you need the experts, the architects, and the engineers who can actually take those rules and apply them to your specific project in your corner of the world. And this is where it gets really specific, because one size absolutely does not fit all. If you're building AI for healthcare, you're living and breathing HIPAA and patient privacy. In finance, it's all about fair lending laws. Using it for hiring, you better know the EEOC guidelines inside and out. See? Every single industry has its own set of non-negotiable rules. And that's exactly why this has to be a team sport. It's not just on the tech folks. Your AI team, they bring the deep technical expertise. But your legal and compliance teams, they're the ones providing the absolutely crucial guidance on risk, privacy, and ethics. You just can't have one without the other. It's a real partnership. Think about that skyscraper again. You don't just inspect it once on opening day and then walk away, right? Of course not. It needs constant safety checks. And it's the exact same for AI. Compliance isn't some box you tick off at launch. It's an ongoing, living commitment.
So what does that look like? Well, it means setting up this constant cycle of watching and checking. First, you have to define what you're even measuring, your KPIs for stuff like fairness, privacy, or model drift. Then, you've got to monitor those things constantly, probably with automated dashboards. You do regular reviews, and this is key, you have a rock-solid plan to jump on any incidents the moment they happen. It's a living, breathing process, not a dusty old report. All right, this brings us to the final, crucial piece of the puzzle, what I like to call the official blueprints. And listen, this is not about boring paperwork. Not at all. This is the critical evidence, the documentation that proves you built your AI skyscraper the right way, from the ground up. That's the whole point of creating these records. The goal is to have an audit-ready trail, so that when a regulator or anyone else comes knocking, you have the receipts. You can show them exactly how you made your decisions and manage the risks every step of the way. So what's in this evidence file? Well, you've got things like model cards, which are basically cheat sheets that explain what an AI does in plain language. You have data sheets to track where all your data came from. You have your risk assessments, your change logs. Every decision is recorded. This file is your proof. It's your shield, really. So when you take a step back and look at all these pieces, the building codes, the expert teams, the constant safety checks, and those detailed blueprints, you start to see they're all pointing to one single ultimate goal. And that goal is trust. This whole thing, all this work, it's not really about just checking boxes to avoid a fine. It's about something so much bigger. It's about building a solid foundation of trust with your users, with your customers, with everyone. So I'll leave you with this to think about. In a world where AI is changing at, just lightning speed, we have to ask ourselves a pretty fundamental question. What's actually more important? Building the next big piece of tech, or building something that people can truly trust?